Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. It's Ryan here with DP Marketing.Services and author on the book on digital marketing for plumbing and HVAC contractors. Thanks for tuning in. Coming at you today with a video on how to build a successful plumbing business or how to build a successful HVAC business. If you're watching our videos, if you've subscribed to our channels for long, you know that we provide a lot of just content and coaching to help you make smarter decisions and grow your business. So this is one of those. If you are a one-man shop and you always want to be a one-man shop, this video is useless for you. So skip whatever, come back next week for another. If you're wanting to grow, if you're wanting to keep growing, if you're wanting to take your business from, let's say, 500,000 a year to 2 million a year, if you're wanting to go from 2 million to 10 million, we're going to give you 5 things that you need to know and you need to nail to be able to really build that successful business. So here it is, top 5 things that most shops struggle with and fail because of it. If you do these 5 things, you will have a great chance of success. Great success. Number 1, you've got to know your numbers. You have to know your numbers. You have to know your numbers. If we had like 10 points, that would be number 1, number 5, and number 10. You have to know your numbers. You need to know your average ticket price. You need to know your callback ratios. You need to know the time your guys are on the road. You need to know the amount of inventory you have on hand. How fast are you turning it out of a truck? You need to know your numbers. A lot of shops that we talk to maybe know big ones. They maybe know their revenue. And revenue is important. But what I would suggest is more important than revenue is profit. Profit is more important than revenue. It doesn't matter how much money you make. If it doesn't fall to the bottom and into your pocketbook, it doesn't really matter what the top line is. So knowing your numbers, knowing your ratios is critically important. So there are 2 broad categories of ratios that are important for you. So these are called KPIs, key performance indicators. If you have some business acumen or some financial coaching, you have a smart CPA, chances are you know some of these. Generally speaking, the 2 buckets of ratios you want to keep in mind are profitability ratios and efficiency ratios. Profitability is exactly what it sounds. How much money are you making per blah? How much money are you making per tech? How much money are you making per call? Whatever. The efficiency is about how efficiently are you making that profit. Is it costing you, are you spending too much time on techs sitting idle for the profit you make, and can you do it with fewer techs? That's just an example. Same thing with like inventory. You might take pride that you always have your trucks fully stocked with everything and you never have to run to a parts house. There can be a tipping point where if you actually had less inventory and went to the parts house, let's say 2 times a week, just making up stuff, that your business actually runs more efficiently and you actually make more profit because you're not keeping stuff on hand that you're not turning very fast. You have to know your numbers. So number 1, know your numbers, know your numbers, know your numbers. Monitor your financials, keep an eye on them. We always recommend review those things quarterly. Make sure that you're trending in the right direction. Make sure to make corrections as quick as you notice a problem, and always try to improve. And just so you're aware, managing financials is one of these things like where you turn this knob and all of a sudden these other 3 knobs are impacted. So you decide, oh great, we're going to start keeping less inventory in our trucks, so turn that down. Cool. Now all of a sudden, now you have all these other things that get ratcheted up that you have to account for. So now our guys are having to leave a job to go get parts and then come back. Now all of a sudden we've got credit that we have to carry, higher lines of credit at the parts house. So the point is to not necessarily just solve one and then walk away. It's turn it, monitor these, tweak it if you need to, turn this back. You're always kind of just holding these things in balance as your business grows. And number 2, pricing. You have to have smart pricing. You have to have solid pricing. You cannot price yourself into the hole. If your pricing is wrong, you will actually find that the busier you get, the more cash-strapped you become. You can't pay off parts. You can't pay your guys. And you'll be confused because you're like, I'm busy, I'm running calls, and our price is better than everyone else. But the faster you get, the less profitable you become. You have to have smart pricing. We're a fan of flat rate. We've talked about it all the time on our channel. We actually have a guide. I'll put a link in the description below of how to make sure your own flat rate is good. Same thing, review those numbers every 3 months because it's based on volume. So if your volume is higher than you expect, great, that's all cash in the bank. If your volume is lower than you expect, make corrections. You need to adjust your numbers so that your profitability survives. Third thing, market the crap out of your business. People will not be able to buy from you if they don't know you exist. So be smart with marketing, be efficient with marketing, but do not be shy with marketing. Talk about yourself all the time on Facebook. Have a great looking website. Don't be ashamed to ask for 5-star reviews on Google. Help customers talk about them, like create a referral program. Be out in the community, create a buzz. Whatever you do, stand out from the crowd, come across as competent, come across as people who are companies of integrity and have quality character. What you want to do is make sure people feel like you won't rip them off when things go south, right? You're always going to take the high road, and your company is going to always take care of the customers. When you do that, when you create a marketing presence that's sound, you have a marketing strategy that you can know and monitor and measure and assess and improve, everything else becomes much easier. Do not waste your money on marketing that you don't know if it's working. Do not go to every possible lead gen source and say, hey, we're going to spend 10,000 here, 10,000 here, 10,000 here, 10,000 here every month, and not know what the crap is working. Be smart, be tactical, hold your ad dollars accountable, but you cannot grow and build a successful business if you are shy with your marketing. The benchmark we use for people that we coach them through is actually the SBA, Small Business Administration Guideline, which is about 7% of revenue should be given to marketing to maintain size. So if you're wanting to grow, bump it up to 10, maybe 12%, but do not go below 7%. So if you are below 7% and you're not busy, chances are that's why. In fact, we had a company who we talked to, and they were spending about 3.5% of their revenue on marketing, and they wanted to be busier. And so we kept trying to say there's a ratio problem here, right? Like, as efficient as things can get, you are less than half of where you need to be as a total marketing expenditure just to maintain size. So you have to be able to think about that. Same thing back to your financial KPIs, marketing as a KPI. Marketing is a function of revenue. So 7% of your revenue, just dedicate it back to marketing every time, like clockwork, for stability. If you want more, bump it up. If you want less, bump it down. 7% is kind of the baseline. But be smart, be tactical. You cannot be shy. Start with 7%. Fourth thing. So number 1, numbers. Number 2, pricing. Number 3, market the crap out of your business. 4, plan. You have to have a plan. Plan for everything. Plan for what happens if your best tech up and leaves you. Plan for what happens if the guy who's an employee who holds the license for your company, maybe he's the master plumber on file, if he decides he wants to go start his own business. Make a plan for what happens if you get hit by a train. You have to plan. Most struggles that we see are for businesses failing to forecast the issues, and they could be big and catastrophic, or they could be small and annoying. An example is we have a client that we work with, and we've worked with them for years. They had a guy who was managing the front office who had created another email account for the front office and had company credit cards, and he was buying with company credit cards like stuff on Amazon and having it shipped to his house. The problem is that the company, because he managed the front office, the company, it took him a while to find that out, right? They didn't see all the credit card receipts because he took care of all the finances. They didn't see the shipments coming in because they went to his house. They couldn't even see the email confirmations because he had access to this other email account that they didn't have access to. When you think about these, plan for, okay, so we have this email. How do we make sure that no tech leaves our company and takes half our customers with them because they have all their contact info? Make sure your systems and things are planned out, thought through, organized. not just for like monitoring where people are for well-being, but also for just the safety and integrity of your customer base, for your inventory, for your vehicles. You just take care of it. Plan. So numbers, pricing, marketing, planning, and then the fifth one is like a variant of the fourth one, systems. For most guys, they do not want to be a plumber for the rest of their life, and they don't want to be an HVAC contractor for the rest of their life. They want to get their business to the point where they can sell it to somewhere else, and then they can go retire on the golf course. Your system, or your business, is only as valuable as the systems that you build for it. If you have no systems, then your business has no value. Systems would be everything that your business does consistently and predictably, written down in a book, trained, practiced, covered. It could be from how people answer the phone, how customers are logged, how customer feedback is responded to, how a tech shows up, what the uniform is like, where do they park when they go to a customer's house, how do they greet the customer at the door. Everything that you do should be a machine. It should be automated, it should be predictable, it should be trainable, it should be recordable into a book. These are the things that help make sure that no matter who the tech is on a given day or who the employee answering the phone is on a given day, no matter what sort of thing is going wrong, you've thought about it, it's written as a system. If it's not written, it's not a system. It's got to be written. That's the process that has value. And if you're watching this and you're like bought into a franchise, that's exactly what they've done for you, right? They've done all this system building and said, here's our business in a box. Do exactly what it says. No, it gives you no freedom. No, it gives you no creative license. No, you have to do it exactly what they say. That's why it works. It's that system. So if you're wanting to sell your business and walk away from it with millions in your bank account, you have to have systems. So how to build a successful plumbing business or HVAC business: numbers, pricing, market like crazy, plan, and systems. Build them. So that's it. Let me know what you think. This is a little bit different from usual. Questions, concerns, things you're confused about, or what would you add? Leave a comment below. As always, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and we'll see you next time.